Hi everyone. Hi. It's Destiny. Auto Education for BlingBlingWomen.com. Destiny Simon. I'm the author. If you remember from last week, I introduced myself, that my educational background is that I was a diesel mechanic in the nuclear missiles. And so I came out of the military and I've done a lot of different things, but one of the things I find is that I am still a mechanic. So as a woman, I wanted to share with you my expertise. So every week I'm going to be doing a video on my book. So if you've seen my video from last week, it'll explain some of my background. This week I'm teaching you on the first chapter of my book, called Coolant. This is my book, Auto Education for Bling Bling Women. If you want to study along with the book with me, you can go on Amazon and get my book, Auto Education for Bling Bling Women, or you can go over to Barnes & Noble online and they have it as well. Or you can just go to Auto Education for BlingBlingWomen.com. And there is my webpage and you can just order it from there. But in the meantime, what we're studying today is on coolant. Inside of my book, I did something I told my class, because I teach this book over at the library, is that when you open your car door on your car, there is a silver plate there that has a whole bunch of information about your car. So what I want you to do is take a picture, print it off, and then I want you to tape it or glue it on the inside of your book. And whenever you go into the auto parts store, what I want you to do is take your book with you, tell them what you need or what you're wanting to do or what you're wanting to check on your car, and that little sticker right there will give them all the information that they need to look your car up. They will know how many cylinders you have. They will know if you have four-wheel drive or if you don't have four-wheel drive, or what oil, what coolant, everything. They'll have it right there. And that way you don't have to give them all that and look silly because you don't know everything. And we're not going to know everything. They need that, okay? So as we go to the first chapter, it's called Coolant. So let's get into that chapter right now. The thing about coolant that most people, we women, I don't think about coolant. I don't think about my car, how it runs, or anything like that. When I go out there and press that button, I just want it to work. And I think most of us women are like that. I really don't care how it works. I just want it to work. But there's some things that as single women that we need to know. Now, we know that how important it is for us to drink water every day. They tell us 8 glasses of water every day, 64 ounces, a lot of different ratings on how much we should drink. But we know that we drink it because we know that without it, our brain doesn't function correctly. We're kind of sluggish. We don't have the energy that we want. And a lot of times it's because we haven't drank enough water. Well, guess what? Your car is the same way. You need to make sure it has enough water and everything so that it functions correctly. Now, we don't put plain water in our car, because one of the major things is water causes rust on steel. And you don't want rust on the inside of your car because you have precision machinery in there, and it cannot have that rust flaking off going through the system. It will cause you problems. So what you use is coolant. Now this is from O'Reilly. You can go to any parts store and their name brand will be on it, telling what auto parts store you picked it up from. But it really doesn't matter. It's whatever auto parts store that you like, the people that you like. When you walk in, are they kind to you? Are they courteous to you? Do you tell them I'm new to my engine and I need to know about something? If they ignore you or if it seems like there's so many people in there every time, go to another one. Find one that suits your personality, because it is a matter of personality. It's a matter of how much they want to help you, and that they don't talk to you like you're ignorant, because we're not ignorant. We just need to be a little educated on our car, that's all. So this is coolant. Now see right there it says 50-50. Now what that means is 50% water, 50% coolant. You can buy it like this. This is pre-made, kind of like when you go and buy those drinks that are Kool-Aid. Basically, it's already mixed up for you. This is already mixed up for you, so you can just buy it and you just pour it in. But you can buy just coolant by itself and then take it home and pour coolant and then the same amount of water. For me, I just buy it like this. It's not that, the price difference is not that much, and it just, you know, it just saves me a whole lot of time not having to worry about mixing it correctly. So you have 50-50 coolant, and this is what you're going to need. This runs about $13, $14 a bottle. You don't have to put it in very often, and you're not going to. You shouldn't be losing your radiator fluid. It will evaporate, and that's why sometimes you have to put a little bit, but you're not putting 2 or 3 of these, okay? You're not. If you did, then you've got a problem. So for maintenance wise, every now and then you want to check your coolant level. And how are you going to check it? Not the old way. You're going to check it the new way. The old way, you had to take the top off of your radiator for the older cars. That's what you have to do. You have to take the top off the radiator and stuff like this. But for the new cars, you do not. So it's a lot safer, because the old cars, when you had to take that radiator cap off, you run the chance of it, steam of when you're doing the lid, it could pop off and hit you. You could get really seriously hurt from the pressure that's inside of the radiator. So you don't have to do that anymore. I say that 99% of the time, unless it's an old car, but I don't think any of the new cars have it. They could, but if they do, then you wait until your engine's cold before you check it, okay? But the new way is with our little reservoirs. The new cars have these reservoirs. They're pretty cool. Actually, it's great because you don't lose any of your coolant by, let's say that your car gets hot. You're not going to lose any of your coolant. It's actually going to go back into this reservoir. In the old way, it would pour to the ground, and then you'd have to put new radiator fluid in your radiator. This way, you don't have to. So, but filling, that's different too. You look at this, and of course, we want to fill it to the top, but you do not fill it to the top. What you do is, right here is a little line that says, this is your full line right here. And it needs room for expansion, okay? So we put our radiator fluid in, you take the little top, and if you look at the little top, the cool little thing is right there. It shows you a radiator right there, so that you know that this is the radiator, not your windshield wiper fluid, okay? There is a big difference. I got confused the other day myself. It's important that you look at the top of this cap and make sure that it shows you a radiator, or it says radiator, or it says coolant, any of that, okay? Normally the water will have a windshield wiper blade on it, and that's for your bug juice remover, okay? So anyway, we're going to take the top of this off like that, just like that. It does not have a dippy thing to see what the level is, for the simple reason I told you right here. It says right there, it's got a little arrow, you can't see it on the camera, where the radiator fluid should be. So when the engine's cold, not hot, you're not going to measure this hot. You're going to wait until it's cold. You will see it'll settle down, and the level will show where it is. And if it's below the arrow where it says fill, then you're going to put some of the 50-50 that I showed you, 50-50 coolant. You're going to pour that in here like that until it gets to that line, okay? No more. Don't want more, okay? Then you're going to put this back on, You're going to make sure you tie. You're going to get it snug. You don't need to put no gorilla strength on this cap. Just till it's snug, okay? And so that's all you have to do. Now, the reason that we leave this space is that as you're going along driving your car, the engine gets hot. Okay, that radiator fluid has to circle around. It has to go through all these different components. The whole thing on radiator fluid is to cool down your engine. The engine is the brain of your car, like our body. The water that we drink. Why do we drink water? We need to cool our brain and get our brain to function, and it has to have water to do that. Okay, so our car is the same thing. So I want you to remember that. That's why it's so important to have plenty of water in your car. Okay, or coolant. It's coolant, water, both. Okay, so remember, that's where you, and this is going to be on the side of your engine, normally. Not always. Sometimes my girlfriend's got like a Zion or something, and that one was in the front by the radiator. But most of the time they're on the side. But what you're looking for is a little top like that says radiator fluid, and that's, if you find the one for AC for the bug stuff, it'll have the windshield wiper on it. Okay, so that's how you tell the difference, okay? So those are the two things that you have to be aware of. And it's in my book. All this I'm telling you is in my book. This is a little handout, and I will scan this and upload it so that you can download it off of Google. And what this tells you right here, this is your radiator, okay? And this is your radiator hose that goes to your engine, all the way back here to the heater, and then back, and it goes through here. These moving parts on your engine, when they move, they cause a lot of friction and a lot of heat. And that's why you got to have this water. You really need to make sure that it's always correct. If you check your radiator fluid once a month, that'll normally be fine, okay? The only other time you would check it or have any dealings with it is if you're driving down the freeway and all of a sudden you look and you notice that your gauge is getting warm, and that gauge normally sits at 212 degrees. But you notice it goes up, or you have a red light come on. The first thing I want you to do is reach down and turn your heater on. Why? Look. When I told you the circulation of the coolant, it goes to the heater. So when you turn the heater on, what you're doing is getting that water to circulate through your heater, and it draws off the hot air comes off of those tubes, is drawing the heat out of the engine. So that's why it cools it down. So you turn your heater on and you get to the next exit or the next gas station. Don't make it a long ways, because you literally will kill your engine and have to buy a new car. And I know you don't want to do that, okay? So that will get you a little bit of time. And then when you get off, you're going to shut your car off, open the hood, and look under the ground and see where you can see where the coolant is leaking, because it's coming out, and it's most likely the hose that's next to the radiator, because those hoses need to be checked and removed and new ones put on like once a year. And that really depends upon where you lived. When I lived in Arizona, where we got 127 degrees in the summertime, you would check those every year to make sure that they didn't dry out from the heat. But now that I'm in Texas, we have heat, but we have a lot of moisture, so the hoses don't wear out as quickly, okay? So that gives you an idea for that. And that, my friends, is the end of coolant. That's how easy it is for coolant. You don't have to make your car be a scary project, okay? That's coolant for you. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, you can get your book on auto education for Bling Bling Women. handout.com. And ladies, this bling bling woman will see you next week. Bye.